الإفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم ودعاء إلى الهدى والإرادة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله ومرضاته وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى مع لطف وعافية برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك علما لدني مشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علما لدني مشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. اللهم إنا نسألك علما لدني مشرب صافي الهني يا وهاب يا غني. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. يا أحبابتي يا سيدتي يا فاطمة يا بنت رسول الله صلاة الله وسلامه لتمنك من عبيك وأمك وعليك وعلى زوجك وابنك ومن والاكم لله. يا أحبابتي يا سيدي يا فاطمة يا بنت رسول الله صلاة الله وسلامه لتمنك من عبيك وأمك وعليك وعلى زوجك وابنك وعلى من والاكم لله. يا أحبابتي يا سيدي يا فاطمة يا بنت رسول الله صلى الله وسلامه لأتمنكم من أبيك وأمك وعليك وعلى زوجك ابنك وعلى من والاكم لله في كل لحظة أبدا عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. Alhamdulillah, 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 Alhamdulillah. We're going to continue with our books. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah, I have the intention to get closer to our mother, Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, and to spread her light to all those around us, inshallah, in the entire world, mashallah. And really, when we try to take on her traits and the characteristics and her dress, right, especially the way she dresses, right, that we intend that we carry, by the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right, and the gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we intend, right, that we bring the light of Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra into the hearts of people around us. It's all by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right, so whether it is that we wear, our hijab, and you put on a hijab with intention, right, that you're covering the way of Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra. You wear, your abaya and you make it intention, right, covering the way of Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra. Right, we wear our niqab, right, with intention, with niyyah, right, that you carry the lights of Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra. And mashallah, you will be very, it will be amazing, right, that you will see people who are even non-Muslim, right, even non-Muslim, right, they'll begin to really admire, right, the way Muslims dress, the way Muslims carry themselves, the way Muslims are, right, and mashallah, I met when I was in Singapore, I met non-Muslims, right, very, amazed, right, by the modesty, right, that is carried by Muslims, mashallah, but all with the intention that you intend to carry the nur of Az-Zahra, and the nur of Az-Zahra, right, so, and then inshallah, when they look at you, right, and the way you behave, the way you interact, the way you dress and so on, they will see a nur, mashallah, and they'll be attracted to that nur, and that nur is from Az-Zahra, Sayyidah Fatima Az-Zahra, all with intention, with niyyah, inshallah. Inshallah. Right, inshallah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Right, Fasl Rabi', on the fourth chapter, Fasl Rabi'. في زواجها من علي المرتضى كرم الله وجهها. تمام. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال المؤلف رحمه الله تعالى. إن شاء الله. Previously you will say حفظه الله تعالى. Now you say رحمه الله تعالى. I mean, when someone is alive, when the author is alive, you will say may Allah preserve him. حفظه الله. But when someone has passed away, you will say رحمه. So that may Allah have mercy on his soul. Right, however, Mariam would tell us, you hear, this was when I was back then years ago, and it used to be four of us. It was me, Fatima Sagaf, Rumaiza, a Malaysian, and her name was something, I remember her name. Two Malaysians. And four of us, every time lesson dengan Mariam. Right, every Sunday and Wednesday, because it's at the nights of Hadrat Zakaf. So we used to go to Hababa Mariam's house and sit in her house and study fiqh for 3 hours flat. Straight after Maghrib, all the way sometimes till 10 p.m. I will sit there and study with Hababa Mariam, four of us. And Hababa would just keep going until we stop her. We actually have to say Hababa, it's really 9:30. Every 10 o'clock. No, she won't stop. She won't stop, mashallah. She could teach for 3 hours flat. mashallah, mashallah, it's the stamina. I often, I'm tired of myself. I'm tired of hearing me. No, mashallah, mashallah. But whenever we would go there, and then they will begin the hadra, and as the first doom, and she will stop her class, and she'll be like dua, 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 dua. They will all just dua. Because the first beat of the hadra, inshallah, will bring you there. Like one of the nights, I keep promising her a lot of things. I keep promising all my promises. I keep saying, I'll bring you there, I'll bring you there, I'll bring you there. I brought the Singaporeans there on Sunday night. Yeah, so you go there early, you hear the first doom, right, from Masjid Asghar next door. Right, that is when, so the first beat of the drum of the hadra, the skies of the heavens open up and du'as are accepted. So I learned from Halmar, so every Sunday and Wednesday we would do that. So we have a dars with her, right, 3 hour dars of fiqh, mashallah. And then the doom, everybody's dua and everything. So mashallah, I hope to that, when I came back I was hoping that the durus would continue, but I think like what happened, I left, then the Malaysians left. So I think Fatimah Segaf was by herself. So probably she just like, you know what, no one's coming for the dara, says it's translated. Right, so now I opened up the Malay halaqah. Right? Yeah, I think that's basically what happened. Right, because the entire, we were 4 of us only, so all left except for her. We all left, mashallah. But all I want to say was that yes, every Sunday and every Wednesday. So this is why she put our class on those days, so we get the hadra. So I was attending the hadra without realizing I was attending the hadra of Asghar. Only after I realized I was attending the hadra of Asghar, because it was right next door. The hadra is only open for men. Women can't go to the hadra, but you can watch Muhammad's house, because her house, it is above the masjid. So you could see into the hadra, right, from her house, Mariam's house. You can go there. I brought the Singaporeans, I brought my jama'ah, I brought them, and they were all watching from the top Muhammad's house, and we were just sitting in Muhammad's bedroom. Because it was the best place to see the hadra, from her bedroom. But anyhow, I diverted, but how Maryam, mashallah, she told us that Habib Muhammad bin Salim, Habib Umar's father, was abducted. Right, he was kidnapped, or abducted during the time of the communists. Right, so there was one of the awliya. I think it was Habib Alawi bin Shihab, if I'm not wrong, was him. Right, that when Habib Muhammad was abducted, Muhammad bin Salim, Habib Muhammad bin Alawi. نعم محمد بن علي بن شهاب. When Habib Muhammad bin Salim was abducted, right, whenever he would say Habib Muhammad, he would say Hafidahullah, right, and after some time he began to say Rahimahullah. So the family knew that the entire time he was saying Hafidahullah, he was still alive. Yeah, and when he began saying, because they're awliya, they know, they're awliya. So he began saying Rahimahullah. They knew at that point that Muhammad had passed. So the awliya, they know. Subhanallah, subhanallah. They could, I mean, of the awliya, there are stories of them looking into paradise to see if, the one. They look into paradise, and they're looking for someone that was said to have passed away, and then they can't find that person in paradise. They'll be, oh, he's not passed away yet, he's not there. And they'll be looking into paradise. Mashallah, it's an awliya, mashallah. Okay, alhamdulillah. But anyway, I was saying that because we now we see Rahimahullah Ta'ala for Habib Muhammad Hassan bin Ali al-Haddad. Right? It used to be Hafizahullah. The night of it, yeah. He just passed away. He just passed away. A month ago, yeah. The writer of this, yeah, the writer of this book, passed away a month ago. So now we say Rahimahullah Ta'ala. Inshallah. Alhamdulillah, we spoke about how it's a unique collection. It's a unique writing, right? That, mashallah. And then now it's celebrated, mashallah. And it's all over the world now. Everyone's reading English, mashallah. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. الفصل الرابع في زواجها من علي المرتضى كرم الله وجهها. ولما بلغت ربيعها 18 تقدم لخطبتها أكابر الصحابة كأبي بكر وعمر، فردهم صلى الله عليه وسلم ردا جميلا، وأخبرهم أنه ينتظر في أمر زواجها تنزيلا. وقد اختص الله بذات الشريف والمناقب سيدنا الإمام علي بن أبي طالب. وقبل أن يصل إلى الرسول لخطبة الزهراء البتول كان الوحي قد سبقه بمباركة هذه الخطبة الموفقة. فنال علي أغلى أمانيه وأعلى حين قال له الرسول الكريم مرحبا وأهلا. ولم يطل الانتظار حتى بعث الرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في طلب الكبار المهاجرين والأنصار لينقل إليهم هذا الخبر السار. فلما التأم جمع هذه النخبة المختارة سطعت أعلام هذه البشارة. وخطب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم خطبته المشهورة التي لم يزل في مثل هذه المناسبات مذكورة، فقال عليه الصلاة والسلام: الحمد لله المحمود بنعمته، المعبود بقدرته، المطاع بسلطانه، المرهوب من عذابه وسطوطه وسطواته النافذ أمره في سمائه وأرضه، الذي خلق الخلق بقدرته وميزهم بأحكامه وأعزهم بدينه وأكرمهم بنبيه. إن الله تبارك اسمه وتعالت عظمته جعل المصاهرة سببا لاحقا وأمرا مفترضا وحكما عادلا وخيرا جامعا أوشج بها الأرحام وألزم بها الأنام. فقال عز من قائل: وهو الذي خلق من الماء بشرا فجعله نسبا وصهرا وكان ربك قديرا. فأمر الله يجري إلى قضائه وقضاؤه يجري إلى قدره، ولكل قضاء قدر، ولكل قدر أجل، ولكل أجل كتاب. يمحو الله ما يشاء ويثبت وعنده أم الكتاب. ثم إن الله أمرني أن أزوج فاطمة من علي بن أبي طالب، فاشهدوا أني زوجته على 400 مثقال فضة، إن رضي بذلك علي بن أبي طالب. قال أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه: ثم دعا بطبق من بسر فوضعه بيننا وقال: انتهبوا. فبينما نحن ننتهب إذ دخل علي رضي الله عنه فابتسم صلى الله عليه وسلم في وجهه، ثم قال: إن الله قد أمرني أن أزوجك فاطمة على 400 مثقال فضة، إن رضيت بذلك. قال: قد رضيت بذلك يا رسول الله. ثم إنه ألقى خطبة قال فيها: الحمد لله الذي قرب من حامليه ودنا من سائليه، ووعد بالجنة من يتقيه، وأوعد بالنار من يعصيه. أحمده بجميع محامده وأياديه، وأشكره شكر من يعلم أنه خالقه وباريه ومصوره ومنشيه، ومميته ومحييه. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له شهادة تبلغه وترضيه. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه صلاة تزلفه وتدنيه. أما بعد، فإن اجتماعنا مما قدره الله تعالى ورضيه، والنكاح مما أمر الله به وأذن فيه. وهذا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم قد زوجني فاطمة ابنته على صداق 400 مثقال فضة، وقد رضيت بذلك وكفى بالله شهيدا. ثم خر ساجدا شاكرا لله وحامدا. فلما رفع رأسه من السجود قال له صاحب المقام المحمود: جمع الله شملكما وبارك عليكما وأخرج منكما الكثير الطيب. فيا لله من فيا لله فيا الله فيا لله فيا لله من عقد مبارك شهده كبار الصحابة أولو الفضل والنجابة. النبي فيه هو الولي، والزوج هو الإمام علي، وزوجته هي الزهراء ذات القدر العلي. رضي الله عن فاطمة الزهراء وأرضاها، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله أزكى صلاة وأنماها. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله. ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. These are the entire chapter of her marriage, right? The proposal and the marriage, mashallah. It's the longest chapter so far. They were digging because the previous chapter is all a bit shorter, like about her birth, went through her station. Then the next chapter was about her birth, and then the third chapter was about her da'wah and her jihad, her struggle in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the fourth chapter is about her marriage. Right. So he says here her marriage, fourth chapter, her marriage to Sayyidina Ali al-Murtada Karamallahu wajha. You mentioned for Sayyidina Ali, it is something that is special. We say Karamallahu wajha. Right? And there are many reasons why the scholars say that we say something special like Sayyidina Ali. And one of the reasons that they mentioned was that he never bowed to an idol. That's one thing. Another reason is that he never saw even his own private parts ever. Sayyidina Ali, Karamallahu wajha. You know, mashallah. He never saw anyone's privates, not even his own. Mashallah. So all the reasons as to why he's he's specialized in that way, Sayyidina Ali. Right? And mashallah, as Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, right, sometimes it is that some people, especially now in our parts of our in our countries, in Singapore and so on, because they're so afraid of falling into like what the Shia do, right? That they tend to fall short of loving the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah, it's an aib. There is a problem in our countries. Right? And when you show so much love for the family of Rasulullah, so to the point I know people, they kind of shy away from talking about Sayyidina Ali. And Sayyidina Ali is the bab, is a door of the city of knowledge. Sayyidina Ali, he has a great position in Islam. He's a brother, and the brotherhood, right? Like the Rasulullah said that Ali will be his brother, and fillah. And of course, the cousin of Rasulullah, his fada'il, his virtue is high and great. Right? So, as Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, right, inshallah, we don't, block off that, right? The loving the family of Rasulullah and understanding the maqam of Sayyidina Ali, right? And of his maqam is he is a zawj, he is the chosen spouse of Sayyidah Fatima az-Zahra. Right? What higher maqam is that? Right, because when you see about Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, her maqam, the highest of the height of her maqam, of her position, is that she is bid'atul Rasul. Right? Like there's the highest of her position of all you could say about her. Right? The highest thing you could say about her is what the Prophet said about her. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, bid'atul Rasul. Right? She is the portion of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. MashaAllah. Right? I mean, nothing else you could say about Sayyidah Fatima Zahra will come close to that statement. بدعة الرسول. Fatima بدعة مني. Fatima is a part of me. He gave her that position, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in that statement. Sayyidina Ali is married بدعة الرسول. He's married to a part of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Who else got that? Who else got that? Nobody. Mashallah. So for us to, prepare our hearts, we're going to speak about Sayyidina Ali today. We're going to go into Sayyidina Ali and about his maqam. Because he was chosen, by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in fact, to be the blessed spouse of Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra, and to be the father of Al-Hasani. Sayyidina Al-Hasan al-Hussein, the father is Sayyidina Ali. Mashallah. Right? So it's all shows you the greatness of these people, and these are greatnesses that cannot be reduced in any way or form. Nobody has a right, because these are all called, positions that Abu Bakr Ali will mention. These are called, like what you said, what's the word he used? Immunities. They're given immunity, in a sense whereby you cannot reduce them. So what they do is correct, because they're given immunity. So that there are individuals in society, like Sayyidina Uthman. Sayyidina Uthman, when he gave the charity in the Osmans, right? And Rasul said, Osman, like nothing will harm him after this day. Meaning nothing can bring him down from his position after this day. That's an immunity from Rasulullah. So in the end of time, when after people went to sleep, when they went to insult Sayyidina Uthman, and they slant Sayyidina Uthman, and what is Sayyidina Uthman? Rasulullah already gave immunity to Sayyidina Uthman. Nobody can bring down the position of Sayyidina Uthman. Subhanallah, mashallah. There is all secrets from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right, so Sayyidina Ali, when Rasul said that he is my brother, so when Sayyidina Ali came in, Ya Rasulullah, like everybody has a brother fillah. Like you have your brother, the Muhajirin and the Ansar, right? They're all brothered, and me, I have no one. And then he said, you are my brother, or Ali, I am fillah, you're my brother, mashallah. And also he said, Sayyidina Ali, that you are like Harun to Musa. When he left Sayyidina Ali behind to look after the people, and they went off for battle. You're like Harun to Musa. Only then he says, Allah Islam, to make it very clear, there is no Nabi after me. Right? Because and this is all from Rasulullah, there are people today who has placed Sayyidina Ali on the pedestal of prophethood. So la. That one is you go overboard. Right? There are people who have done that. And there are of the people who have said that Jibril went to the wrong person. To that extent, there are those who say that. Jibril was supposed to go to Sayyidina Ali, but he went to Rasulullah. So these are all like the call of the Jews, right? The Jews say that Jibril in the Quran, when they hit Sayyidina Jibril in Surah Baqarah, right? So when Allah says, whoever is an enemy to Jibril, right? Because the Jews are doing it, they were saying that Jibril hates them. So Jibril is giving the message to the Jews, went to the Arabs. Right, so and you find people in the Ummah who are saying the same thing. Right, it's like what the Jews were saying. Right, instead of going to say, Ali went to Rasulullah, that is slander on Jibril, slander on Sayyidina Ali, slander on Rasulullah, and even slander on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as if Allah is a qadir ala kulli shay. Allah is powerful over everything. He's not going to allow Jibril to do something wrong. Mashallah. Allah is powerful, mashallah. But anyway, so mashallah, so we love him, right? I had this question once before when I was teaching about Sayyidah Fatima Zahra. Someone asked a question, about loving the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she asked a very good question. She was saying, when you look at the Shia, right? And then we know there are of those of them who have gone past and gone beyond the boundary. In cursing Sayyidina Umar and Sayyidina Abu Bakr, there are those who curse, right? So she asked the question, how do we know, right, if you're loving, whether love is excessive or not? How do you know if the love is excessive, or wrong, right? Because there can be a wrong way of loving, right? Then I just said to her very simply, you love in the way directed by the Prophet. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Because everything in life, even love, is with hidayah. There has to be hidayah, right? So there has to be a direction and a guidance, even as to how you love. All from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? So we say Fatima al-Zahra, we love her, and we love Sayyidina Ali, And we love the Sahaba as how we see the Prophet ﷺ has taught them to love each other. He has taught them, mashallah. And as long as you follow his guidance, you will not go out of the boundary, inshallah. Right, so mashallah. Naam. Right, so when she reached, when mashallah, Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, she reached the age of 18. And this is what the majority opinion, age of 18. So many of the great companions came forward to propose in marriage, right? Because a girl is now at the ripe age, right, of marriage, 18 years old, right? In fact, in the society, they begin very young, mashallah. So technically, 18 is quite old. She's an older woman, mashallah. And mashallah, and for all we know, probably it was not done earlier because of the Hisar, there was a boycott and everything. It was all difficult years, very difficult years that she was going through as a young girl, losing her mother, her father's doing the da'wah, she's helping him and so on. Right, so it was only in Medina there was like some rest, for the family, mashallah. Um, right, so mashallah. So they came forward to propose to her in marriage, Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Sayyidina Umar, and of the great Sahaba and very rich Sahaba. Right, so they are righteous, they are good men, and they are rich. Right. So, but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam rejected all of them. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And of the best of men, right? Sayyidina Umar, Sayyidina Abu Bakr, wouldn't you? Mashallah. Who would reject them, right? Mashallah. But we know that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is on commandment. It's a wahy. It's a wahy, right? So it's not from his hawa. It is not from his desires. It's a wahy, and from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? But he very beautifully rejected all of their proposals, mashallah. And you don't find them trying to convince him. Right? They asked one time, like he said, to them, I'm waiting for the amr min Allah ta'ala. I'm waiting for a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they step back and they began to ask amongst each other, have you asked, right? And they were not, it was not a competition. Right, but it was just that, who was the best person to be the blessed son-in-law or the husband of the most beloved individual to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, without any comparison, right? And when we speak about the Sahaba, you will see, when they want to speak about the Sahaba, they will say Fatima az-Zahra, you put her to the side, then you can talk about everybody else, right? Because you cannot compare any one of the Sahaba to Sayyidah Fatima az-Zahra, right? So any of the tarjama, any of the biographies of Sahaba and so on, and when they rank the Sahaba, right, they were placed Bid'atul Rasul, right, the part of the Prophet ﷺ, by herself. She's on a pedestal by herself, nobody can touch. So it's not even becoming to try and compare her. You can't even try to compare her to anybody. Mashallah. She's like, on a pedestal by herself. The khalas. Right, now we can look at the other Sahaba and compare them. If you have to compare them as to their fadail, their virtues and so on. And so the best companion, right, with no competition, is Sayyidah Fatima Zahra. Right, of course, she's above and beyond with the Atul Rasul. Right, so when the scholars say, okay, when we discuss about the Sahaba, first and foremost, with the Atul Rasul, put her where she's at. Right, she's high and above. Okay, now we can discuss. Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Sayyidina Umar, Sayyidina Hagada. Right, because she's not in the discussion. Right, because she is above and beyond, mashallah. Yeah, she's above Sayyidina Khadija, she's above Sayyidina Maryam, she's above Sayyidina Asya, above Sayyidina Fatima Zahra, because she's bid'at al-Rasul. That statement itself, khalas, is folk. Mashallah. So to them, like, who's going to be the husband of this woman, mashallah? Who's going to be the husband, the lucky man, mashallah, the most blessed man? And they were not fortunate, mashallah, and they were not trying to compete, but they're trying to find, out of love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and love for his family, the best person. So we began asking around, and they asked Sayyidina Ali, or a young man, unmarried. He's the one who's unmarried at this point in time. And propose. Like, why not proposing? right? And he goes, I got no money. Basically, I have no money. Every young man will say that, right? You ask young men, why are you not married? No money. No job, no money. What do you want me to do? And bin Zaman, right? From Nabi Musa to, I mean, all of them. Even when Nabi Musa came, married to the daughter of Nabi Shu'aib, right? Job first, right? Job, work for your for your spouse. Till today, see, and that is the way it is because it's responsibility, right? A man is not to come into a marriage and basically be irresponsible about the finances of the marriage. He has to, take care of the woman that's placed in his care, and then any children that come after, right? So I mean, and men naturally, yeah, I am. And men naturally, they do think of all these things. You'll find them, right? Naturally, most men, Allahu Alam. Most men, they should be thinking about these things. When it comes to a marriage, straight away they'll be like, money, 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 money. Hey, and it's not because of dunya, but it's because of responsibility. They have it, they're having their blood. Responsibility. Women were like, spend. But the men will be like, responsibility, family, children, this, that, a lot of things, mashallah. So Sayyidina Ali, this is what happened to him basically, mashallah, right? So the Sahaba said, just go and propose, right? And then see what's the mahar like, right? But won't harm, mentioning your intention, right? So, okay, mashallah. Right, so the story goes to the, and there are a few riwayat about this, this entire how the proposal happened, right? So there was one of the stories I heard, was that he went to the Fatima Zahra, and he went to the Rasulullah, he went to Rasulullah, and he sat with Rasulullah, and he was silent. He was just silent in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah sallallahu said to him, "Ya Ali, why have you come?" And he was just so silent, like so shy to say something. Then the Rasul had to say, perhaps you came for Fatima. And, so he had to, push him. Like, propose, we're going to propose. Right, and then he nodded, right, and then he said, marhaban wa ahla. And she said, Ali had no clue what that meant. Like, marhaban wa ahla, Aisha, marhaban wa. So he went out, and the Sahaba was outside, and they were like, what did Islam say? And he said, marhaban wa ahla. And then they were like, halas, right? That means yes. No one else got that. Everyone else got, I'm waiting for the amr. You're the only one who got marhaban wa ahla. Mashallah, you. So me, mashallah. Right, and then initially, there was no mahar stated, but then thereafter, Allah revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam what the mahar should be, 400 dirhams. Right, so when he said, Ya Rasulullah, I have no money, then Rasul said to him, that shield, right? We just got that shield from the past battle, right? Sell that, right? Sell that, and the money you can use for the mahar. Right? So, marhaban. Right? So he went out. Sayyidina Uthman saw him. It's a very beautiful story, Sayyidina Uthman. Like when you learn more about Sayyidina Uthman, just love him, Sayyidina Uthman. Sayyidina Uthman is one Sahabi because his haya, his modesty, mashallah, his modesty is so high. You don't really hear him, speak so much. Sayyidina Uthman, mashallah, to find a hadith narrated by him. Subhanallah, nadir. Like, from Sayyidina Uthman, mashallah, he's so shy, Allah. But when you read about his life and stuff about him, you just love his character, the person that he is, So he's saying Ali with his shield, and he's like, I have to sell this, And Sayyidina Ali is known to be a warrior, at battles and so on. So of course, war material is good for a warrior, right? To have war material. Sayyidina Uthman says to him, I'll buy it off of you. And how much? He said, I need 400 for the mahar. Like, okay, I'll pay 400. Flat out, and Sayyidina Uthman, mashallah, give him the money in his hands. I'll buy the shield from you, right? So Sayyidina Ali, mashallah, very happy. He sold his shield, right? And then he got his money to get married, right? So he gives Sayyidina Fatima to Rasulullah alaihi wasallam. After the marriage, right? Sayyidina Uthman comes around and he gives the shield back to Sayyidina Ali as a wedding gift. Mashallah. So in a sense, Sayyidina Uthman went, mashallah, like they don't just give him money. Because people have dignity. Sayyidina Ali has dignity. You don't just take money from people. Sell your stuff. Get the money. Sayyidina Ali he's known to be an odd job person. I mean, you hear the story saying that Ali, he would go out one day, he would collect some firewood, then he would sell the wood. That's all he would do. He come back, got another day, he would draw water from the well, get some money. He come back, mashallah. He do it like you say odd jobs. He do odd jobs, and Ali. But he is the alim, the bab of the city of knowledge. He is a warrior. He is someone who is of the most intellectuals, Sahaba, and so on and so forth. Sayyidina Ali, mashallah. But his job, odd jobs. Mashallah. So don't look down on people's jobs, right? He does random things here and there in the society. He gets a pile of dates, he brings home. He gets a sack of wheat, he brings home. خلاص, enough for him, mashallah. And yakfihi, and enough for Sayyidah Fatimah Zahra, enough for the family, enough. Like whatever he goes out, he earns, he brings home, that's enough. Mashallah. And it's a day by day. In our time, we say a daily wage worker. Daily wage. Mashallah. So mashallah, mashallah. Sayyidina Uthman, mashallah, with his goodness. Right. So I didn't even think that he would get him back his shield. So Sayyidina Uthman came and like, nah, it's yours, a gift for you, mashallah. Okay, mashallah. The Surah Rasulullah got the instruction from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right, that the one who will marry Sayyidah Fatimah Zahra is Sayyidina Ali. Right, so there was one of the narrations whereby how the proposal came. Other narrations say that he did say, he came, he was very shy, and after a while he just said Fatima, just his word Fatima, and then some said La'an, and then he said, no, like perhaps you would like to marry her, right, and then he just nodded like in that way. Then he said, what do you have? That was the mahar. What do you have? Right, and then he said nothing. Broke, mashallah. Right, and then he said, what happened to the shield? Where's the shield? You have a shield, right? Sell that, mashallah. So then, so the answer was marhaba wa ahla. Right, the one that means that yes, right? We say yes, right? So it was, and then the Rasul went out, and he called the companions, the Muhajirin and the Ansar, right? The great companions amongst the Muhajirin and Ansar, right, to give them this great delightful news, right, and do it. So they all gathered around Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right, to listen, right, to this great this good news from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you see, mashallah, mutual love between the people, right? Nobody was envious, right? Nobody was like, how come he said to me to wait, and how come like no one, there was no, mashallah. طيبون, mashallah, they're pure in their hearts, mashallah. However, Maryam, when she was in Singapore this last time around, a few months ago, she came to Singapore, Maryam, right? And she was telling the story of how Rasulullah married Sayyidah Khadija, right? And she mentioned that Abu Jahl had actually proposed to Sayyidah Khadija before that. Abu Jahl had actually proposed to Sayyidah Khadija before that. And Sayyidah Khadija, she rejects everyone because she's waiting for the last prophet. She's really saving herself from marriage because she wants to marry the last prophet. She's intent. Right? So when Abu Jahl came for the proposal, right, she rejected his proposal. So then when she began, to see to Nafisa and so on and so forth, she was to marry Islam and so on, right? So news spread through Mecca that Khadija, right, the woman, all the men it was a dream to marry her. Inshallah. She was getting married. Right, so the news spread, but there was no name that who she was marrying to, right, getting married to. But the news spread that she was like a rumor, somewhat that she was getting married. Right, so Abu Jahl was convinced it was him. Right, so arrogant, and the ego, the ego is so high, like so sure it was him that she would marry. So when it came to light that she was marrying Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of course, when I told the story to the kids, they were like, "Who married Abu Jahl?" Okay, the kids, when I told the story to the kids, right, the kids will go, who married Abu Jahl? Like, how does he even think he has any competition with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Out of the league, like, he can't compete. This is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his akhlaq, his whatever. Abu Jahl wants to compete. He's out of his league, inshallah. But Abu Jahl thought it was him. He was convinced it was him. This is the ego. Like, you're so sure someone wants to marry you. Some ego going on, eh? Right? I mean, you think that. So when he heard, when Abu Jahl heard that it was Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who was chosen, it was at that point he hated the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This was 15 years before Wahyu. Right? So he began his animosity from the point of some marrying Sayyidah Khadija. He hated Rasulullah because as if he took Sayyidah Khadija away from him. Of course, Sayyidah Khadija would never marry him. Who wants to marry Abu Jahl? Abu Jahl was known as a crook even before Islam. Like he was a crook even before. There are stories, the pact of the Fulul, and there was a pact. It was because Abu Jahl was cheating someone. So Abu Jahl was known for his crookedness. He was a crook, even from before Islam. So people knew him to be someone foul in character. His character was really khalas. He was a terrible person. You can talk about Abu Jahl all you want, how terrible he is. But mashallah, so you see people with bad heart. Someone got married already, khalas, and hating them the entire time. Because marrying someone that you wanted to marry and that person rejected you anyway. Right? So why are you hating that person? So a believer does not behave that way. This, a terrible person, what was it, disbelievers, a terrible person behaves that way. Right? Whereby they are jealousy against someone else who marries someone else. Right? Sahaba, not a hint of it. Nothing. MashaAllah, rida and rejoicement, and they celebrated the marriage of Fatima and Sayyidina Ali. And they're all pure individuals. And the fact of the matter is that each of them proposed. They all proposed. It's an amazing thing. They all proposed. And all got rejected. Not only one.
It's not jealous.
No jealousy, nothing. So pure in wanting goodness for the family of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That's all they wanted. True love is true love, mashallah. Ya Allah, Sahaba, mashallah. So Rasul stood up amongst them and he praised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who is praised by his blessings and the one who is worshipped by his power and ability, the one who is obeyed by his sultan, right, by his authority, right, the one whom you run to run away from his punishment, right? The one whose commandment is established in the skies and the earth. He is the one who created the creation by his power, and he has differentiated them by his ahkam, and by his rulings, and by his honor, and Allah has honored some of them with his religion, and Allah has honored them with his Prophet ﷺ, and Allah all bless his name is and greatness of him subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has made musaha, and musahara, in-laws. I said marriage ties, basically marriage ties. Allah has made marriage ties as a way between people that will come close to each other through marriage, mashallah. And you will see the Sahaba will do this over and over again. I said, now Umar proposed in marriage to one of the daughters of Sayyidina Fatima Zahra, Kulthum. So, and because he wanted to have, how far are they in age? They're very far in age. But it's because he wants to have more connection to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So his own daughter, Sayyidah Hafsa, is the so he's the father-in-law. And the four Khalifas, two of them are father-in-laws and two of them are son-in-laws. You think about it, right? Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Sayyidina Umar, father-in-law of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because he's married to their daughters. Right? Sayyidina Uthman, Sayyidina Ali, son-in-laws of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because married to his daughters. MashaAllah. Right? But for Sayyidina Umar, it was not enough. It is enough, mashallah, but Sayyidina Umar wants more. So he married the granddaughter of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Kulthum, the daughter of Sayyidina Ali and Sayyidina Fatima al-Zahra. And here it's a proof also of Sayyidina Ali's love for Sayyidina Umar. There's a very beautiful book in the Risala, if you learn in I'dadi, of how it shows the love between Sayyidina Ali and Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Sayyidina Abu Bakr and Sayyidina Ali, and then Sayyidina Umar and Sayyidina Abu Bakr, and Sayyidina Ali and Sayyidina Umar, and Sayyidina Uthman and Sayyidina Ali and Sayyidina Ali and Sayyidina Uthman. So many instances of how Sayyidina Ali loved them, and they loved Sayyidina Ali. And of course, the thing that Sayyidina Umar will always say, لولا علي لهلك عمر. And he refers to Habib Ali Mashhur. Because Umar used to say, "Lawla Ali lahalaka la Umar." If not for Ali, Umar will be destroyed. And Habib Umar will say it, referring to Habib Ali al-Mashhur, "Lawla Ali lahalaka la Umar." Subhanallah. In the same way Sayyidina Umar will do it, mashallah. Because Sayyidina Ali used to counsel him, as a Khalifa. So all in the history of Islam, and so from here you can see it is that they loved each other, right? It is unbecoming for us to even entertain any thought that the Sahaba had hatred towards any other Sahaba, ever. I got this udhon on the Sahabi, because to hate another individual, it shows bad character in a person. So if someone were to attribute Sayyidina Fatima Zahra hatred towards Sayyidina Omar, what you're doing is you are insulting Sayyidina Fatima Zahra. She is above hating. Oh, her heart is pure. They are all no dunya, no nafs, no self. Right? So when people say, oh, she used to hate them. She's not shallow. She's not, no, she's not petty. No, it's Fatima az-Zahra. She's high. So it's why on us never to attribute our own diseases that we have with other people. The Sahaba is free of that. And they never have any hatred or dislike or whatever that we have with other people. You might have with other people. Sahaba above that, mashallah. So it's slander. Right? It's outright slander. Right? When they say, no, I didn't like Sayyidina Umar, I didn't like. It's so much of childish. It's so childish. To behave in that way. Sahaba is above that. And they are focused on da'wah. They are focused on jihad. Right? They are focused on ta'lim, on teaching. They are focused on things that matter in the hereafter. Mashallah. They're not shallow.
People accuse you they should come to Talim.
Yeah. They should come here. Mashallah. People used to say to me, people of Tarim, because of their strong love for the family of Rasulullah, people think that people here are Shia. Right? And I'm like, do you know how many Omars and Abu Bakrs are here? the very names that is mashhur in Tarim. Wherever you go, Abu Bakr Omar. That is just that is proof enough. Yeah, they love Sayyidina Umar. Mashallah. Yeah, mashallah. I always say to them whenever they say Tarim, is where the Shias are, right? And I'm like, what? I don't know why Jama'ah Tarim. And they, no, Shia, they obsess about the family of Rasulullah.
Yeah.
So, you've heard it.
Yeah, so many people even think that I'm Shia also when I tell them I'm Yemen and they're wearing black, because this is not normal for not Shias.
Yeah.
They got their geography wrong.
SubhanAllah, and then also when you speak about love of Muslim
The elevate.
it's just like, why so much? This is low.
Oh no.
Like you can love the spit of Rasulullah and the pee of Rasulullah, you can drink it and it will not be too much.
Yeah. And it's
it will protect you from the fire.
Yes, subhanAllah. And the fact of the matter is that we fall short so terribly in loving them.
Yeah.
That's the fact of the matter. Far from being excessive, not excessive, we fall short so terribly in loving them. We're on the other end, of taqsir, of falling short. And talk about of excessive, you hardly even love. Subhanallah. Now I'm going
There
quite.
was actually a girl that I met in Denmark. She was telling me, she was a convert, and she was telling me there is nothing why celebrate the Mawlid of Rasulullah when the Rasulullah is the prophecy came to him when he was 40. It's not. There's nothing good about Rasulullah when he was before.
La hawla wa la quwwata
The urine of the Prophet ﷺ is blessed. How can you say that there is everything in his life, everything about him?
Dunya is prepared.
Yeah,
You know that Salama, she drank the urine
Yeah.
of the Prophet and she was told Prophet
you are
you're protected from the fire.
Sallallahu alayhi wa
And so
sallam.
how can you say that there's nothing nice about everything, all the miracles
Before he's
so many
40,
inhasat,
la
they
hawla
just
wa la.
some people think that.
Yeah.
Subhanallah.
Inshallah.
So it's shocking.
Inshallah, may everyone taste the sweetness of Mawlid. This is such a strong sweetness. So that's why we came on to trying to translate, and do a sharah and so on of the Maulid books, right? So people you can see for yourself. It's so beautiful, mashallah, the Maulids, mashallah. Alhamdulillah. Now, so continuing, and he has made the in-laws a way of getting closer, and it's something that has been established. It is a fair commandment, right? And it is and is goodness in all of it, right? And then he has mentioned that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has made it, whereby people's closeness and their relations come through it, right? And Allah has placed it in human society. Right? So marriage and having in-laws, all mashallah. And Allah says in the Quran, the meaning, He is the one who created the from water human beings, and has made human beings with lineage and with marriage ties and in-laws. Mashallah, the word here bashar, bashar. Bashar here means human being, and just I don't know if you all read recently. I'm just gonna go a little bit off track. I'll come back. Like just a commentary on Bashar. Right, and of course, there's a qasida, Muhammadun Basharun laka Basharin. Right, bal huwa kal yaqut baina hajari. The qasida. Muhammadun Basharun laka Basharin. Muhammadun bal huwa kal Hajari. Something like that, right? Masih dah boleh sing for us. Muhammadun yeah, so it so mashallah, so basically it means that Muhammad, he is a human being, not like human beings, a human not like human, but rather he is a gem between the stones, mashallah. So anyway, I was just you have to go off already. Your husband's here.
I'm so sorry, I have the only keys to the house of management.
Ya Allah, kita mashallah.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you, mashallah. It's okay. So it is a bashar, right? It means human being, right? So just a bit of a sidetrack. Now I'll come back here. Just a few years ago, my friends were sharing me this top seller book, right? It's a top seller basically of this Muslim woman, and she is she's they call it a queer Muslim, right, of the LGBT, But she took her dalil very strangely from the Quran, from a translation in the story of Sayyidah Maryam, when Sayyidah Maryam said, when the angels came to her and said, "Oh Maryam, you are pregnant, right? You're pregnant," and she goes, "How can I be pregnant when no man has ever touched me?" That statement, right? No man has ever touched me. So this lady who's LGBT, she goes like, "Oh, Maryam didn't like men either. Like me, I don't like men, and she didn't like men either." When you go to the Arabic, Sayyidah Maryam didn't say dhakar. What did she say?
Bashar.
Lam yasasni bashar. She said that in Arabic, right? And when you look at the Arabic, the word man here refers to species of human beings, not to dhukur wa inan. So this person, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, she took her dalil from a translation, reading the word man to mean gender man, no man has touched me, whereas the Arabic meant no man as in no human has touched me. La hawla. I was like laughing out loud. I laughed. I was like, what in the world? You take it as your dalil and you misunderstood the word man. And because man in English could mean male, it could mean human, and to all of mankind. Doesn't mean males. Allah sent down the Quran to all of mankind. That means what? Not us. Of course not. Mankind means human. Human. Yeah, mashallah. It was so ridiculous, ya Allah, when I saw it. Mashallah, mashallah. But people do what they want to do. And they take the Quran and they mess with it. Like, it's just so, I don't know, it's just so, they don't know what to say. Even misinterpretation is, like, I would even call it it's a form of idiocy, in a sense. Like, not even thinking. So in the word Bashir I saw. Because I was like, she completely misunderstood the word man. If of course, even if you said zakar, you can't use that as a proof, even so. Because Jesus said that Maryam is chaste. Not that she's gay. She's chaste. Right? She's not going near any man. Doesn't mean that she's gay. Like, you know. So she took it as a proof that Sayyidah Maryam is like her not interested in men. Okay, now, but it's a bestseller. It's a bestseller. This book is a memoir of growing up as a queer Muslim. Yeah, it's a memoir. It's a memoir, and it's a bestseller. And the reviews are like, she has a refreshing, take on the Quran, and a refreshing, it's all come in the end and speak about this, mashallah. Because also she mentioned that because we say Allah laisa bitaka wala unsa. Now the LGBT community is saying that also Allah is what they call it, they use this is what they use no there's a word that they use. What did they use in I am binary, non-binary, right? Because binary means I'm one gender, right? So say Allah's non-binary like us.
He or she, they and us.
Yeah, so they go Allah's non-binary like us.
Yes.
So you hear your hair stand, right? You're like, how in the world did they even do that? You cannot link yourself to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Right? Don't do that. Right? No, mashallah, it's so it's called it's Sharia. In Arabic you say it's so out of it. Mashallah. But anyway, she was saying that Allah is non-binary and we are non-binary. So we have a place in this religion that they're whatever they're taking everything. Inshallah. MashaAllah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us purity. MashaAllah. And I have full yaqeen that the more we speak about pure individuals, as Fatima Zahra, Sayyidina Ali, pure individuals, we bring society back to purity. Right? Because this is all pollution. So you want to come back to purity of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra. Marriage, the entire act of marriage coming together, it is natural for human beings to have it this way. MashaAllah, there will be the da'wah to emphasize on them. So even if our children and teach them Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, go into her marriage and make marriage beautiful. Marriage with a man and a woman and having a family is beautiful. This is beautiful. MashaAllah. And what is halal is beautiful. What is the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is beautiful. MashaAllah. And Allah has caused for His commandment to run in His decree, to run in His power. Right? And for every part of His decree there is power, and for every part of His power there is an appointed time. And Allah has written that Allah will efface whatever He wants and establish whatever He wants. And with Him is the mother of the book, right? And then He said, and then Allah has commanded me to wed Fatima to Ali bin Abi Talib. And must remember that Sayyidah Fatima Zahra and Sayyidina Ali, they grew up in the same household, and they are both Kharijiyah. Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, she is a graduate. Sayyidina Ali, he's a graduate of the school of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They all came out of the same school, the same tarbiyah, the same ta'lim, the same, mashallah. And they are the best students of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidah Fatima Zahra being the best of them, and Sayyidina Ali. And when they marry together, mashallah, they get the best combination, of people. Mashallah, mashallah. And mashallah, I will even go into when I teach the kids this part, I will just mention to them how come Sayyidina Ali was in the household of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which basically was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam doing back a favor to his uncle Abu Talib. And the story goes that because Abu Talib looked after him when he was young. So when he grew older and he had a family, right, he offered to his uncle who was very poor, I will take one of your sons. Right? And he took Sayyidina Ali. Sayyidina Hamza also was looked after by Abu Talib, his brother. Because remember, Abdul Muttalib passed away, and both Sayyidina Hamza and Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam were 8 years old. They were about the same age, and Hamza and Rasul were close in age because Abdul Muttalib married close to the time, or at the same time, in fact of Sayyidina Abdullah. They both married for Bani Zuhra. Because Abdul Muttalib was told the last prophet will come either from you or from your son. He was told that. And they said to him that it will come from Bani Zuhra. So he himself, Abdul Muttalib, married from Bani Zuhra, and Sayyidina Abdullah married Sayyidina Aminah from Bani Zuhra, right? Because he was wanting to see where is the Prophet coming from him or from Sayyidina Abdullah, right? And of course, so from his wife, from Bani Zuhra came Sayyidina Hamza. Sayyidina Hamza came, right? And then some came from of course Sayyidina Aminah. Right? So Sayyidina Hamza and Rasulullah, they are not brothers and they are very close in age. You know, mashallah. Having already mentioned before, when Sayyidina Hamza was asked, who is older, you or Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? And the question was, man akbar? Man akbar. In Arabic, the word akbar can mean greater. Can mean older, can mean greater. Sayyidina Hamza, he responded, he's older. Sayyidina Hamza, he responded, he said that, huwa akbar minni wa ana asan minhu. MashaAllah. So the kalam, mashallah, very sensitive. I will not say ana akbar minhu. La huwa akbar minni, ana asan. I have more years behind me. I'm older in that way, but he's greater. So even though what was meant was older, there could be the other meaning of greater. They would never say. MashaAllah. There was one I brought Sir Zainab to Singapore, and we had a very small, like the smallest Quran, smallest mushaf in Singapore by Ali Masjid. They have like a whole set of like Qurans, mushafs that they keep. So I says, so Zainab, Ustaza هذه يعني أصغر القرآن أو مصحف اللي في الدنيا. اللي Ustaza Zainab تندني ليس أصغر يا فرحانة ألطف. ما شاء الله. أدب مع القرآن. الأدب. You cannot say أصغر القرآن. حاول أستغفر الله العظيم. ألطف. Even the choice of words, the choice of words. You don't just it does mean
subtle.
Oh,
yeah.
Asghar is small as well.
Yeah.
And you can say small about Quran, so you can say Altaf is subtle. It's
yeah.
subtle.
It's singing, but beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful word because asghar can mean demeaning. It can be something
It's small.
Something small in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I meant was the size. It is the smallest one. Right, but she corrected me, even my lafaz. You can't use that word in the Quran. Right. So and then she will say also that for example sunnahs, you can't say small sunnah. There is no such thing as small sunnah. You can say simple. Simple sunnah, easy sunnah. But you can't say such a small sunnah. La sunnah kabira. It's big. They're amazing. They're great. You will say and it's easy, light, and yasir. But you can't say صغير. You can't say that. The word usage. You can't say small sunnah. There's no such thing as a small sunnah. كل شيء كبير عند النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. كبير عظيم. You will say like that. So you learn from them, language. They're so sensitive to this language, mashallah. Very careful. Mashallah. So then we'll stop there for today, inshallah. Yes.
So Sayyidina Ali is older than Fatima.
Yes, Sayyidina Fatima Zahra, yes. At the point of Wahyu, Sayyidina Ali was 10 years old and Sayyidina Fatima Zahra was 5. So there is a 5-year gap. So I said that she was 18 at this point, so he's 23. If you go young man. So technically he also married very late. And compared to society, his 20s, compared to society, they were married very young. So in a sense he also, and it could be very much, so because of the dawah, the struggle, and they were going through a lot of difficulty. So it could be that they delayed their age of marriage. That's possible. MashaAllah. Okay, now Okay, so inshallah we will continue from there the next time now.
Can I share something?
No.
Like when I'm reading Turun, I think Habab Nur, I think, or Mother Habab has mentioned that Sayyidina Ali was known as Karam Wajha because in his mom's tummy, his mom, I think she was going to bow to an idol or something like that. I don't know what was that.
Yeah.
And he stopped the mom, like in tummy.
Yeah, she couldn't.
She couldn't.
She couldn't bow.
So like,
She couldn't bow when he was in her tummy.
that's why it's known as Karam Wajha.
Mashallah. And she gave birth to him in the Kaaba.
Never what?
That's Sayyidina Ali. She was doing
I
tawaf.
think you meant to like pay respect to the idol. And he doesn't allow
He
it.
didn't allow it.
to
There
stand
is
like-
the story of her. She was doing tawaf and she came to leave
So
her.
that was really beautiful.
And she went to the Kaaba. She gave birth to Sayyidina Ali there. Mashallah, mashallah. Sayyidina Ali is a very special person, of course. I mean, this is the very fact that he married Sayyidina Fatimah Zahra. Is enough as a dalil, as a proof for us of his maqam, right, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, the very famous hadith where Rasulullah said, I will give this flag, this raya, to the one who loves Allah and His Prophet and they love Him. A very famous hadith. And Sayyidina Umar was like, there was no day I wanted leadership except for that particular day. And because of what is Sayyidina Umar. And he was on his tiptoes, like hoping Rasulullah would see him. I was doing this. So I would call him, then Rasulullah say, where's Ali? That is Prophet Ali. The Shahada of Rasulullah, he said, that he loves Allah and His Prophet and they love him. Allah and Ali. And then he killed him. Amin. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Amin ya Rabbi. Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Baca Fatihah. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وعلى آله. Yes.